The following program is a Town of Colonie television production of the William K. Sanford Town Library.
Good afternoon and welcome to Taking Care of Business. The show highlights inspiring entrepreneurs in the region and the stories behind their businesses. My name is Bill Brigham. I'm director of the Small Business Development Center at the University at Albany. My program offers confidential one-on-one counseling with small businesses, usually in the case of business planning and financial analysis or financial projections. What we're really doing at the center is working with about 1,300 businesses a year. I've had the privilege of working with probably well over 1,000 entrepreneurs over the last 20 years. And it's my pleasure today to welcome Michael and Heather Tangora from Tangora Technologies. I welcome you and appreciate you for coming in here to talk with us and really to tell us more about Tangora Technologies. Do you want to start off by talking a little bit about the story, how you got going, and
Sure.
Well,
where
actually,
you've come
yeah.
from,
So
you know?
it was 21 years ago on Sunday, June 25th, 1996, that we established Tangora Technologies. We actually started out as a heating and cooling company, but Michael had a lot of interest in different controls and electronics. So through the years, we then expanded to entertainment, technology, and then generators. But the slogan I always say to people, he was a man with a van with no plan. So that's kind of how we started out. And we did start out home base. We were a home-based company, and I was a stay-at-home mom at the time, and he just came home and he said, we're going into business. And just, also part of the backstory of May of 1996, we cut the roof of our house off. June, we started the business, and in November, our son Parker was born. So it was a really busy 6 months.
Now, Michael, were you in that industry prior, or how did you get involved?
So my position was mostly in the HVAC industry for about 20 years, I guess, somewhere around there, or maybe 15 years.
Yeah, at that point. Yeah.
And I had started as a service technician and then worked my way all the way into management, and then ultimately thought I was smarter than everybody that I worked for. So that really was the point at which we went into business for ourselves. We had a kind of a small family, friends, customer, client base to begin with. So I always felt like I was wasting time going to work. Serial entrepreneur.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, aside from cutting the roof off of your house, how about any milestones along the way? Now, I think when I first met the two of you, you had a showroom or
right.
a
So that was
storefront.
That was one of the milestones. I would say we had a showroom on Delaware Avenue, and then we moved it to a different showroom on Broadway in Menands. But another milestone, I'd say, when we hit our first $1 million in revenue, that was a big milestone. We're up to 14, 15 employees, and really the first milestone was moving it out of the house to the showroom.
Okay.
That was a big deal because we were home-based.
Now, it must have been a little awkward having workers at your house every morning around the.
You get pretty comfortable, pretty comfortable around the breakfast table. Folks coming in and out, grabbing their dailies.
It was tough.
Yeah,
it was definitely tough.
And was that part of the reason to move out of the house?
Yes, because we were growing, and so it just justified, and we need the space for inventory, and we thought it would be worthy to try more retail, or for builders, because we're really working with a lot of builders, to come in and display our wares and all our different products and services.
Okay.
Yeah, at one point we had almost 40 regional builders. So, 15 guys on the road servicing hundreds of homes a year. We just couldn't take the flow through the house anymore. And that was really the push for the showroom. And it was really to be able to show the wares,
Okay.
Be able to display what we're selling as opposed to drawing the vision for somebody.
Yeah.
See, and I know it really kind of started off in the primary heating, cooling.
Yeah.
But you've transitioned into so many different industries, product lines. How did all that happen?
When 30 or 40 homes at a time represent itself, and the builder asks you if you do central vacuum, you typically would say, hey, I've had the drills out, I have the manpower on site, I think I can handle some central vacuum tubing, and that's how we picked divisions, is what really presented itself as we grew the path into that new construction arena, back in the early 2000s. Really.
Security, structured wiring. We used to do home shows down at now the Times Union Center and have structured wiring panels, and people would say, what is that? So we were always educating, because we were always so cutting edge of the different technologies we were displaying and wanted to put into people's homes, the low volt for sound, security, data, internet. But people would often say, what is that? So it was a lot of education.
So what are some of the products and divisions? I'm kind of a novice when they start talking about smart houses and things like that. I'm kind of like...
We categorize anything smart home, connected home, Internet of Things in our technology division. So we're HVAC, which is kind of self-explanatory, heating and air conditioning, ventilation. With technology, it encompasses those technologies that we're talking about, even right down to the Amazon Alexa that's sitting on 50% of people's counters at this point. To integrate all those things, our divisions then grow and help service the client and those needs, right? So based on building those divisions, it came out of the necessity of serving clients, more or less, right?
And also your love. We did the entertainment, so the home theater division, because Michael just loved the theater. So we do distributed audio, dedicated theaters. We would do boardrooms, even as simple as hang TVs. But even today, the price of a TV when we started for like a 40-inch plasma was maybe $5,000 or so, it was, and today a fraction of that.
Right.
It's just, so we've seen the technology change. Now we're 4G and the 3D is come and gone, I think, so it's...
So it's 4K.
Oh, it's 4K.
And I constantly
4G works for me.
4G works. So,
I was off a letter.
So, yeah, you're really pretty close in spite of. So, really, the business evolved around technology, mostly divisionally, around technology changes. So we've seen from being able to control a few lights in the home with kind of hokey controls, and if it worked, it worked, to full-blown lighting systems that can control more or less an entire home or community. So, we look at where these technologies take us. We also look at what's profitable, obviously, as a business, and repeatable. So those are things that we really like, technology that works.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Now, but how do you keep up with these trends? Do you go to association meetings or trade shows, or do you do a lot of reading?
All those.
We do a ton of reading.
Yeah.
There must be 30 trade journals a week in our bin. We do trade shows. Trade shows are great for seeing the bleeding edge technology products that are coming out, but really the cutting edge lands in our home. Our home has developed into our showcase for a full connected home client. So, if you're building a new home or renovating a new home, or you're into a small apartment complex, a lot of these luxury apartment complexes now are utilizing our services for advice. So, there's a lot of different angles that we work with our business, but all in all, our love for technology, I think Heather has a term for me, the mad scientist.
Yes, I live with the mad scientist. So we do a lot of bench testing in our home, and not being the real techie, from the K to G or whatever. So if I can use it, I consider it user-friendly, and that makes a big difference. And also, even with the 3D, we're like, I don't know if people are going to want to put glasses on and watch TV. So it's also a gut of, if we're not necessarily using it, is the next consumer going to be happy with that too?
Well, that's pretty interesting. Now, what are we looking at with a futuristic home? Is there anything that comes to mind that
there's a lot of things.
Oh my God.
That we wouldn't
It's all in the
automatically
apps.
think of? We understand cell phone with lights and things like that.
The cell phone happens to be our self-personal, that's our MAC address, right?
Okay, right.
And that MAC address is connected to every appliance that's connected to the internet. So, as we walk into our home sees that phone come home, if you will. If it's not a chip embedded in our body, it'll be the portable device that we're taking with us everywhere. So, really the connectivity, automation, the ability to walk up to your door and the door to open for you. So to unlock automatically because it's your phone, to turn on the lights if it's dark, maybe it's only 40%. There's a lot of things that we do to automate a home to take away the everyday daily tasks of the consumer. So if you have 8 or 10 furnaces in your home, you're not going around and turning up and down every furnace thermostat. It might be 5 or 10 minutes out of your day, right? So multiply that by 365 times 10 years. That's the process, is if we can take and automate the entire realm and then look at the energy that we save, reducing the carbon footprint. There's a lot of things that come out of automation.
Right, we're already doing that now.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to be so proud of being in business for over 20 years now.
That's crazy.
That's just
It's been a journey. It's been a journey.
Now, what would you tell young entrepreneurs these days? About.
We have a book.
Yeah. Oh, you do.
No,
It's in here, but it's coming. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I think mentors are really important. We've, we use the Small Business Development Center still, and meet with Kate, and just for a sounding board, and we go in as a couple too, so it's kind of like business couple advice too. It's she's neutralizes it sometimes, which is good. You always need, your own little board of directors within your business, and if someone was starting out. Because we've made a lot of mistakes along the way, is I would start out with a bigger chunk of change, a bigger more capital.
More startup capital.
Because we have financed a lot of it ourselves, so.
Yeah, and I think if you bootstrap it too long, it's that way for a long time.
Yeah,
You don't make that quantum leap.
Yeah.
As others do more quickly, but then you're looking at higher risk, and what if things don't work out? But
you're all in when you go into business. You're all in. So it doesn't really matter unless you can really cut the cord quick. I think Heather's point is probably the number 1A or 1B. I was going to say the professional team at an early stage. So again, partnering with NYBDCs and
your
the
lawyers,
scores
your bankers,
and the
your
bankers,
insurance,
right.
All that.
That's, to me, I think, has been the turning point for our business professionally. I think it took us almost 10 solid years to come up with the right team of people. And we use that team to physically not pair against, but to really sound against and then we'll come up with more of an educated decision on
Yeah.
what's the next step.
Accountant and,
Beautiful.
financial advisor, yeah.
Now, have you ever found it a challenge being in business together and being married?
I have never had a problem.
I always joke. Here comes Michael. Where's Heather?
Yeah. I'd say the toughest part was when we moved out of the home to the showroom, and it was just really clearly defining the roles there. So if there was any gray area, that's when it was most difficult. So we had to really clarify what was black and white. And once that was done, since then, we're very lucky. We are partners in life, partners in business, parents, and so we're married 26 years this year too. So we've hit a lot of milestones this month. But so for us, it works. I know a lot of people said they could never do it. For us, we're really.
I think the
business
communication,
partners.
though, and we've discussed this, communication, and people ask us all the time, like, what's the trick?
Yeah.
What's the secret?
Yeah.
I think it is communication, and it's also having the same goals, really the same finish line. We both know where we want to be in 3 years, 5 years. That's really what I think a lot of people miss out on, is sharing what their real goals are and achieving them at the same point.
Yeah, but do you often have overlapping responsibilities, or do you divide that, or is it
We
that
work
fluid?
Well. Yeah, we really work well as a team.
Yeah, I think it.
Yeah, we work as a
goes.
team.
Yeah.
So we help each other to get through the work day, through the life, day at home, and I think
Schedule, right?
Schedule,
Schedule's
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, we live
being
by
on
live
track
by our
with
schedule.
schedule.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're a few minutes late for things, but for the most part, we're really on time. And
Yeah.
it's one of our customer comments almost
Yeah.
all the time is I can
Really?
set my watch.
Yeah.
That's really what we look for. Is again. In
happy
business,
customer, yeah.
the communication is key, and
In
with our
life.
clients the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, because we see family members go into business all the time and fight like cats and dogs after
Yeah.
the first year.
Yeah.
And it's one's got
It's
to get
hard.
out, one's got to, and it's just got to be difficult at times. Now, do you have other family coming into the business?
We do. Our
yeah.
son Parker just graduated from Hudson Valley through the electrician program. So he started mid-May. So we have second generation and talks of succession planning for that. So that's exciting. And our daughter Brittany has worked in it over the summer, but really no interest. So we're happy to have Parker aboard.
Oh, that's absolutely
Yeah,
great.
it's very exciting.
One way to succession of the business.
Yeah.
How do you see the business 5 years from now? Will you two kind of be out by then, or what's the plan?
That's the plan. Yes.
So realistically, the plan is to make sure that he has everything he needs
Set him up for success.
to continue the business if that's his course. We also know that there's value to sections of our business. We have a security division, if you will, and plenty of clients there, and we know the value of our business. It's really an evergreen scenario, right? We might see you every year for your furnace tune-up.
Okay.
We might see you every year for your air conditioning tune-up, et cetera, et cetera.
So it's a lot of return business and
Continual return business. So we really enjoy, our customers either, unfortunately, we always have this conversation, they either die
Okay.
or they move.
They move, right.
But when they
Okay.
move locally, we end up with 2 homes. So,
There you
it's
go.
kind of
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we
that's
have
our
a very dedicated database.
Well, you must over 20 years. You must have seen different swings in the types of business you're in, or economic downturn was just horrendous for so many existing businesses. You've probably seen it all. What were some of the biggest challenges going through 20 years?
Yeah, 2008 was tough.
Wow,
Yeah, we
yeah.
had to
Yeah.
close our showroom, move home, let employees go. My dad was dying at the same time, so that was 2008 was a tough year.
That was probably, I think, one of the most challenging
would
years
say.
for us
Yeah.
of all.
Yeah.
But we really managed to make our way through the mud.
Well, we pivoted quickly. I think we were able to change and adjust and adapt. I think the companies that couldn't or didn't. A lot of the builders didn't survive.
Okay, yeah. See, because it seems like you diversified over different periods of time,
Right.
but morphed into a different type of company, if that's right. From a service company to technology to product based. Are there any types of products that you got into that didn't really pan out so well, or industries?
Well, we don't do central vacuum anymore.
Okay.
Though that's still one of my favorite products. But
Really?
it's just, the builders didn't want to put it in, so it created a big challenge, and retrofits were very difficult to do
Okay.
and expensive. So what else? We've tried all different things.
And even with the technology curve, you'd have products that would seriously come and go overnight, but we would invest in products to try in our own home and end up with boat anchors. So that's how I look at the products that we've experienced in the past that end up on the shelf. Boat anchors, right?
Yeah.
And so now we've learned really to spend our time with our core group of counselors, if you will, and really throw it up on the wall and see if it sticks first, instead of investing. And I think of Mosquito Technology.
Yeah, because we had the Mosquito Technologies, so that was a venture.
So,
we've had many.
And that
others.
attracted mosquitoes and trapped them.
Right, and killed them. But
Okay.
that we were dealing with the inventor, and he was an inventor and not a businessman, so that made it more challenging. So
Yeah.
that's a whole nother.
But it's always interesting to be on the front end, too. So the potential, it's high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
And but will it work out or not?
That's really the exciting part about technology, right? I always say I get paid to play. And that's really what we do. Just this afternoon, I was hanging a beautiful TV on a really beautiful fireplace with a Sonos soundbar under it, and confirm the reasons why we were there as the professional installers, because if the homeowner tried it, it would have been on the floor, right? So we really do enjoy what we do on a daily basis. It's fun to get up and work.
Sure.
Yeah, we enjoy it.
No, but you really don't have a clear footprint as far as where you work. You came from out of town to come here today, or
I was in Alfred, Mass. to race here to get here.
Yeah.
So how do you get business there, and how do you handle a vast area?
Well, the internet obviously is the source of any out-of-town business almost for us, or a local builder in certain cases.
Yeah.
We have a customer in Altoona, Pennsylvania. He happens to have a mammoth home, and he had a real custom high-end builder in the Saratoga area build it for him. So we happened to be a sub for that builder at the time, and we were happy to make that trip.
Okay.
So completely off-grid, 15,000 square foot home that was just this one-off home in beautiful countryside in Altoona.
Now, I think heating and cooling, you wouldn't think of generators that you're into. That type of technology. What are some of those others that aren't the obvious? Generators seem to be really picking up now. Because it's better technology, I guess, now. Is that?
Better technology, failure of the grid. So more folks are losing power on a regular basis. That happens to be really the stem. Also, look at our storms, things that are happening that just didn't happen 25, 30 years ago. We were losing power in the middle of the winter for a week at a time. That never happened, right? So I think more people are in fear of actually losing power over an extended period of time. And now I think it's more affordable. Okay. So, whereas maybe back then it was just a little bit out of the price range of reality.
Okay. And do you think it's kind of people wanting to stay in their homes longer? Is that kind of part of what
for sure
what's going on now?
I totally see that. I think more folks are actually paying their mortgage off, staying there, living there, and experiencing the world just through travel instead of a second home mortgage.
Okay. And we consider that one of our purposes is to make your home your castle, provide all the comforts of your home. So if we can create longevity there for you in terms of, security, lighting control, a comfortable place, to watch TV and.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that terrifies me a little bit is being so dependent on, the internet and apps and everything else to run my home. You mentioned power going out.
Yeah.
What
Now
happens
what?
when my router's not
Right,
going?
now what? It's pretty interesting. So I just had this conversation about 3 hours ago with a customer in Massachusetts that's on a very rural road, and they're reliant upon satellite for internet. And if you've ever experienced what that's like, if you remember what dial-up was like, or the old, tones on the phone, you could hear it through your computer. It's a step above that.
Wow.
So they're just getting an internet infrastructure in their area. So we were talking about it as like buying a home without water flowing to it today.
Right.
A lot of people are very dependent upon internet to work.
Okay.
And this is a person that it is a second home, so we can't feel all that bad.
Sure.
But technically, if they wanted to work from that home, it makes it very improbable, if you will, just almost impossible. So, we are looking at the internet. The pipe to the house is very important. The speeds are insane right now, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We're kind of running out of time. What I really want to say though is I love the calculated approach you take to your business. As Heather mentioned, you're in our office quite a bit.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. You really have to look at outside people, outside advisors, and mentors, because it's there. And,
right.
And you
We
really
need
need
'em.
that third person to break ties or to really help rationalize a different direction. So, we really appreciate you being here, and
Thank you, Bill.
We love it.
It's
Yeah.
been great to work with you over the years.
We will continue
much.
for at least 5 more years.
Great. I'm sure that is so. After 20, you're going.
We'll send in Parker after that.
Yes.
We will be
We'll be
introducing
happy
him.
to see Parker. My name's Bill Brigham, Director of the Small Business Development Center. I appreciate the Tangoras being here and spending some time with us and giving us some of their business wisdom and staying power. And we hope to have you back again, and or Parker, and just so much appreciate it. And this has been Taking Care of Business, and thank you for tuning in.